Welcome back, Leah, for part 2. So we're gonna have balance, unknown, and then a little past, present, future for you. With this deck, it's a Marseille deck. I do read reversals, so because it pertains to the self, and I think we all could use a little more interpretation on that, or a little more guidance, or knowledge, understanding, all the good terminology. I'll get my terminology up soon, because it has to be kind of unique to this channel. I'm not telling you to go anywhere else, but definitely, like, if you feel like you resonate with somebody else, there's a ton of tarot card readers out there. So, yeah, hopefully you enjoy this tarot card reading. You find it very informative. So, alright. So this one I like to do a little, to see if I'm nailing the question right. I'll have the main situation. What's say your main situation with your balance, like what's keeping you in balance, I guess you could say, in the center, and then we'll go for how your mind is, how your physical is, your soul and your heart. Your soul and your heart, there you go. Right? Yeah, soul and heart. Dang, I think I might have read it wrong for a few people, but either way, it's interchangeable. Like if you saw it really comes out to this thing. Dang, I'm sorry. Again, I should say it right. But they're like, I mean, it's like, hey, we told you what was aware. Be aware, be aware. All right, so. And you might not even have, as I say, resonated with it. Okay, so you got the Hanged Man reversed. Oh, sorry. And then, I mean, this one we don't really need to clarify, but if we need to, we will. A lot of people will say something negative, but to me, the way I interpret this card is you're really going that middle way. You're trying that so much so that it kind of went to, not extreme, but to a place you don't meant for it to go, as in saying, instead of you saying, I don't want to over specialize here, I don't want to overdo it over here, I don't want too much of this, you stop doing a lot. And now you're like, oh, well, now what should I have done? What should I have invested time in this? Should I have not invested time? Or, I don't want to say second guessing, but you're kind of like saying, did I think right? Did I do right? And then you have the Six of Swords, clarifying on your mind. So what's on your mind? And what I like about this deck is some of these cards, I just can't tell if they're right side or reverse or upright. I would, and then sometimes even I forget if they're right. But the message is clear. You want to move away from what ails your mind. Like that, whatever's on your mind, that's what you want. You want to move away from it. You don't want to think so much. You don't want to be so preoccupied. What in regards to, I don't know, as I clarify, those are my cards. If you clarify, it'll show. You got the Queen of Wands. Physically. Because it pertains to the self, it would be somebody very close to you, feminine, somebody with feminine traits or attributes. Fiery, passionate, but because you came in reverse, they might not be able. either you feel yourself this way, you feel yourself too much, and you're not really dealing with it properly. You're just letting your emotion, your base instincts take the better hold of you, physically. So I not to the extent of Adele, but too much of a good thing, if that makes sense. Wow. So it'd be, yeah. So on your heart, the King of Swords reversed. Not counterparts, but you definitely had a yin and yang thing going on here. Both, I guess, likes attracts, you know. So like attracts like. Wow. Okay. Not bad. I hate to say, not hate to say, but you got the 10 of Cups reversed. But still, this is really good. Okay, let's just leave it like that for. Oh no, crap! This was supposed to be flipped over. I'm so sorry. But either way, it goes for. I promise I won't mess up again next week. It's a lot to do in one set. Okay, let's read it like this. On your mind, you want to walk away because you're not. Let's just read it as a person. You're not too sure about a feminine energy or a feminine character or somebody with feminine traits close to you, and because this isn't the physical, it could mean somebody close to you. But again, with those traits and qualities, and they can't handle them too well. And then for really where your heart though came out with the King of Wands reversed. So either, again, if you want to take it so that's in your heart, what's in your heart is somebody with masculine traits or characteristics that, again, kind of like the Queen, doesn't do too well with their not emotion, but they don't do too well expressing themselves and all that. I don't want to read too negative into it because that's assumption as to the character of the person you're dealing with, and you don't want to read too negatively like that's assumptions off of one card, you know. But again, this is reversed for your heart. But in your soul though, you got a 10 of Cups. It may be reversed, but still, that's a 10 of Cups. Like your soul wise, you know you're good. You're just undecided, and you just kind of want to move away from it because I think it came out in one of those previous strikes of it. You were good inside, like you were really good inside. Here, we'll clarify all the cards just real quick. Your first video is one of the longer ones I've done, so I always end up clarifying most of the cards anyway. Six of coins and Aries pentacles. There you go. Either you've thought of and you want to be equitable, not just charitable or equal, but equitable, but you don't know how to not express or do, but how to do that particularly. But why, I'm not too sure. But then you have the World clarifying the Six of Swords. So you want stuff to you want it to end. You want something to finish. You want to see the light at the end of the tunnel. You want progress, I think. Finally be done with something and then moving on. Like you want to move on. Stop thinking and moving on. Very clear right there. And then you got the Chariot. Clarifying the Queen of Wands. How to interpret that? You got it right side up. Interpret it this way: walk away from them, or if you stick it out with them, make sure you're considered an equal, not. All right, just like that. Like, just be considered equal, and show you have drive. Like, show that you can do what you gotta do, and you should be good. I think that pertains to you. Stop using the negative traits of I think that's your sign too. Your energies, or the way you interpret it, astrology right there, or in tarot. Stop being the negative qualities of these two characters, both yin and yang, out of whack, and have drive. Like physically, I think what it's saying is be more physical. I don't know what that means to you, but something in the physical, move on with it or do something. And you got the Knight of Cups reverse, clarifying the King of Wands reversed. What can that mean? Then a Nine of Wands, clarifying the Ten of Cups. So it was a lot of work to get to that Ten of Cups. A hell of a lot of work. But you did the work. Whatever work you did. It was a lot. It could still be a lot, you think, but definitely, I think it's not a 10. It's a 9. Definitely, all soul work is very intense. But you're close. You know, over here, either an offer didn't go through, or somebody's just behaving really young. Like, because this pertains to the self, I don't want to read too much into it. I'm saying, even though I did, like, read that and like, kind of like I said, don't be too negative in other ways. Even if you, I hate to say, get rejected for whatever the reason. Just don't in your heart and then physically. Do something about it physically, and then in your heart, don't be so. Don't take it so personally. Don't be so emotional. Yeah, we'll clarify this one more time. And the star, clarifying the Hangman. And lastly, the Mage reversed at the bottom of the deck. You're hopeful though. You're really hopeful that everything. Let's just say this money situation involves you. Then you're hopeful that everything will turn out, right? Because you're not sure what to do. Like, if this is money coming towards you, you're not sure what to do until that happens, but you're hopeful because you don't know yet. It might not happen because you're not, and that might not happen. But it's trippy, you know. All right. So now we're going to the unknowns. I'm going to throw out 4 cards, or get 4 cards, and then clarify each one once. And these cards are really good. They're very self-explanatory, but because they are kind of concise. Try not to read too much into it, but then again, trying to get a message out as to what they're trying to say. Just, you know. I am sorry. I have this one particular voice, and I can't seem to raise my voice again. All right, you got the waiting game as your first card. Violet, if I'm not mistaken, this is the 2 of either 2 of Cups or 2 of Swords. I think it's 2 of Cups. No, it's not 2 Cups. Dang. I'm sorry. I have to read over. This is a fairly new deck for me. I'm reading a lot. All right, and then 18, Shadow. There's a lot of dualism going on. A lot of dualism. No, yeah, I think this is a 2 of Swords. So this would be, I think, the 2 of Swords. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You got Rejuvenate. Estin Rejuvenate. Number 4. The waiting game. It makes a lot of sense. I don't. in one essence, because right here you're just waiting stuff out. You're not too sure what to do right there. Or if you want to read it the opposite again, whatever I interpret, you can always interpret it the exact opposite. Not because it's reversed, but because it's you can read it so many different ways. But it can be like, once you have all the info, then you'll be willing to act. And destiny, last card. So. Okay, so obvious read. You can read it this way. You're just waiting in the like the more literal, not necessarily what they mean, but you're waiting in the shadows while you rest and rejuvenate, because it involves a great deal of yourself. So you're not rushing. Or the other way with shadows, you're waiting because you don't know what's going to happen. You have no idea. You want to see further ahead, but you have no idea. So what they're telling you is just rest, heal. Because it is like, I think, not this route, but the other one. It involved the yes or no, right or wrong. It involved the bigger picture, right? So something that definitely is going to be affecting not just yourself, but others around you. So fulfillment of wishes. This one, if I'm not mistaken, is Pentacles. So that's the 9. See, so you're just waiting out with either for or with money, because you don't know. Something definitely money related. Your reads were, except for this particular one, but this is a self. It was really involved with it was involving a lot of money. I'm sorry, finance, wealth, not just money, wealth. All right, and then material and spiritual prosperity. Number 6. Material and spiritual prosperity. I think that's what it's going to affect. That's what you didn't know, or you were unsure of. See, the other way you can interpret it is like, you didn't want people to know. See, this is why I'm kind of not. I'm hesitant to go too deep into detail, because I'm like, oh no way. If somebody else, I'm not saying somebody, but if somebody else were to want to, what do they know? What are they gonna get? If I read too much into it, it's not, and especially you're gonna be like, oh crap, I feel vulnerable, and because there's gonna be cross watchers, there's gonna be a lot of people that want to do all that. But it could mean that nobody knew that it involved your material and spiritual prosperity. You didn't know people knew that. Now they do. It can be read that way. It doesn't have to be. And then spiritual strength. Another 9. 10, 9, 9. 9. Okay. And then right there, about another 9. So for example, but no. And then rest and rejuvenate. Why? Because you need spiritual strength. I think that makes great sense. Great strength. If you don't get your rest, you're not going to have the strength. Because I mean, who can really function when they're not well rested, you know? And then conflict and defeat for your destiny. It's very, very clear. Stand your ground at the bottom of the deck. I think this reading is very clear. You're playing the waiting game because you're waiting for your fulfillment of wishes. Like, you know it's coming, and it involves a lot of wealth. And again, it's not just the material, but everything that means wealth to a particular person. And see, that's why I'm saying, like, I'm a little hesitant to get too mention too deep one, because in the shadows, either you didn't know, and now you know. The material and spiritual prosperity depends on this situation. This doesn't have to relate to anything in any other spread that I've done. This can be in and of itself and standalone. So whatever this pertains to, it's connected to material and spiritual prosperity. And you didn't know that, or they didn't know that, and this can be either good or bad. And I hate to say. The other way to read this is again, fulfillment, material, spiritual, and then conflict. You're interpreting that way. Or if you want to keep it hidden, See, I'm not worried about the good stuff. I'm not worried about. I'm worried about how it can not usually. But I'm looking at every, and then rest and rejuvenate because your strength and all. Why? Because it's gonna affect your destiny. I mean, how many? It's not like saying how many destinies, like nor like. Very few things can affect your life at a grand scale, but it's totally possible. If you understand what I'm saying, it's totally possible. So rest, rejuvenate. I hate to say because either you do or you don't know, and this isn't telling me whether you'll meet with conflict and defeat. Whether you succumb to conflict or defeat, it's a whole different question. But it says stand your ground. So it'll make that. They read that. So stand your ground. Stand your ground. And these are Thoth cards, but I still use them pretty good. They're exactly like the other deck, except for a few changes here and there. But they work. I like these cards are really nice. Yeah, you don't have to like the cards or the reader. Okay, in your past, you have the Queen of Discs. So something regards you acquiring money, like being kind of in your power, or whatever you're doing involved in. Wow. Okay, Princess of Discs, and your present moment. Sorry. What that refers to, I don't know. We'll clarify right now. We're gonna have to clarify. Abstractly, they're all earthly. It's all, everything is relative to age. So, maturity, and then there's it's princess, queen. I think it's page, princess, and then queen of. So in those three maturity levels, somebody who's kind of in the middle of age, I don't know what it's regard to, and debauchery for the future. I don't want to read it, but let's just read it like that. Whatever happened, it was involved with somebody mature. You may have been involved with somebody mature, and now you're kind of involved with somebody younger, and you're not, or you're involved with both, or you consider one in the past, one coming up. But somebody comes debauchery. I like that. Because either you're having too much of a good thing, or something's happening, And then I always like to do this and then clarify the future, and then we'll clarify the present and the past. So you got the moon, clarifying the Seven of Cups. So nobody knows what's going on. Let's just do it like that. Prince of Swords, clarifying the Seven of Cups. Nobody knows in regards to this youthful character presence. Presence, there you go, that's a good word, presence. A youthful presence that either even you don't know or nobody knows, and it involves them. And that also comes with messages that you had no idea were coming. Alright, so Temperance, right here is art, is clarifying Princess of Discs. So temperance, right? Have some temperance, and you're dealing with this person. Nothing has told me anything about age for anybody. And then you got the Eight of Discs. Sorry, these are discs right here. The Eight of Discs, with the Queen of Discs. So whatever you had with this Queen of Discs, it was a long-term project. You had time invested. you were getting returns, but this is but it was kind of like self-abundant. Like you had it each on your own, but not like incredible wealth together. Kind of shit, if that makes sense. Wow. And then lastly, the Knight of Discs, clarifying the way future. So at the bottom of the deck, okay, I would say like not be careful, but be wary. You got the Ten of Swords at the bottom of the deck. So I'm thinking what this is trying to say is mentally, you're nearing the end. Whatever you're going through, you're nearing the end. If you were involved with the feminine energy, it was a lot going on for whatever reason. They're in the past now. Now you're working with somebody younger, and you should have temperance. Maybe you were a little too chaotic on one side, but now you should have some temperance, some art, be tactful in regards to the Princess of Discs, because in the future, you're gonna have so many cups. You're gonna have a plethora of choice, and you might read it this way. You might have a picture, and you don't know, but you're gonna feel like you're really gonna get. For whatever the reason, maybe you are, and I have to interpret it like if you're young and then middle age and then older person, so all the crazy large interpretation. So that you feel youthful, but you don't know this, or this is in regards to a youthful person. Maybe these are connected, you don't know. Maybe you're working. It doesn't say you're romantically involved with anybody. It's just saying options of something, and maybe this person is working out with this person, and you don't know that this girl is having somebody, already know somebody. But money-wise, you're gonna be good. I think, but see, it can all lead to the Ten of Swords. So if you're not careful in how, I'm thinking, if you're not careful, whoever the Queen of Discs is, if you're not careful, you're gonna lose all that time and investment that you've had. And if you're not careful with somebody you're working with, the Princess of Discs, something bad could happen. You in the future, you're gonna have a lot of choice, but you don't know that it's either all involved or partly related to or in connection with somebody who's really a young presence that's really knowledgeable, or you're going to get news from it that you have no idea that money's coming towards you. So it's very difficult to interpret because there's the abstract and then there's the actual as a person kind of reading. So I hope you liked this spread. I think it was very, very informative and very clear. Hopefully I was able to share that to you. And well, thank you very much. Leo, thank you.